Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What's up, everybody? Kevin Jackson here. Did you miss me? Oh, of course you did. I missed you too. Did we cuddle? I cuddled with you metaphorically, and I hope you cuddled with me. We had a little bit of time. Thanks again to Liz for being a guest host. I was going to say co-hosting, but guest hosting for me on Friday. And I'm glad to be back. Anyway, the big news, obviously, of Friday evening occurred was the firing of Andrew McCabe. Yes, another swamp drain, baby. Welcome to the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com for you newbies. If you want to get a hold of us, and if you do want to call the show, 844-551-8255. Lots of reports about this. And by the way, step one just occurred. The reason why this was symbolic, why McCabe had to be fired, is very simple. He's patient zero of the corruption. And we're going to cover this quite a bit today because I want to explain to you what's about to happen. When the bow breaks, as they say. Yeah. The dam is crumbling. There's a spillover, and it's about to cap. It's gonna flood the valley. And let me tell you something, folks. You conservatives, you're up on the mountain looking down in the valley going, I suspect those people ought to be leaving, but they haven't left because Democrats are too stupid. They still believe they're in charge. They still believe the apparatus of the swamp is in good shape, but it is not. The swamp isn't drained, but it is getting drained, and it's draining down into the valley. This is amazing news. It seems little. Oh, he's going to lose his pension. That's what they want you to believe. McCabe is going to lose his pension. I'll get back to that. After 22 years, Andrew McCabe was scheduled to retire from the FBI on Sunday, at which point he would collect his entire pension. Those benefits may be in peril after McCabe was fired late Friday for his, quote, lack of candor with journalists. Let me tell you something. FBI agents don't get fired for lack of candor. They get fired when they're corrupt. Now, McCabe isn't going to lose his entire pension. He's going to lose some ancillary benefits. He gets the bulk of his pension. So why are we talking about this as his pension? Oh, McCabe might lose his pension. That's what the left wants you to believe. This is about his pension. Give the man his money. He gets the bulk of his money. I haven't done all the research, but I've done enough, scratched the surface of it to tell you that he's going to get the bulk of his pension. He loses some things that he would have gotten had he not been fired, some little niceties. And you know what? I don't care. I get it. I get why people are mad that he gets to keep his money because he's a scoundrel of the highest order. He is a swamp rat, a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat who was doing everything he could to disrupt the process of this election, far worse than any type of collusion the Russians would have done. If you want to look at collusion and people trying to thwart the electoral system of an American government, let me tell you something. You have to look no farther than any Democrat you want to point to. At all levels, these crooks, they would do anything to keep Donald Trump out. And if you'd ask any one of them, they'll tell you to this day that not only would they have done anything to keep him out, they do anything to get him out right now. So for them to pretend like, oh, Mr. Russians, no, it isn't. It's them. They will do illegal voters. They will let Muslim terrorists vote. They will let prisoners vote. They will let somebody who just tried to rape your mama vote. They don't care. They will let people who just shot up schools vote. You give me your scoundrel, I give you a Democrat voter. And one that they happily support. This is not about McCabe's pension. Don't you believe that for a second. You don't get fired in the FBI over lack of candor with journalists. Here's what another group wrote. The issue stems from findings in an internal Justice Department watchdog report that claims he misled investigators about the decision to authorize FBI officials to speak to the media about an investigation into the Clinton Foundation. Dun, dun, dun. Magic words right there. But I love how that's a lot of verbiage for saying he covered up for the Clinton Foundation. He told people, oh, don't go that route. No, don't look over there. Go look over here. Let me just tell you something, people. James Comey is patient. Andrew McCabe is patient number one. Patient number one, watch the dominoes fall. Here's something else you might not know. The IG, this is the Inspector General, was investigating McCabe long before we started getting into all this other mess. This man's been under investigation. The media happily leaves that out. They knew about this swamp rat long ago. And now we got two magic words that we haven't heard in quite some time. He didn't want to talk about the Clinton Foundation. Hallelujah. Now, when we do get our second special counsel, now, is Sessions going to give us that? I don't know. You people have been mad about Jeff Sessions. Me too, to some degree. And I came back from CPAC and I told you I talked to an insider. And the guy told me, says, Kevin, Sessions is smarter than people are giving him credit for. He's doing things in such a way that it doesn't involve the D.C. swamp rats. Boom. He just gave you patient number one, Andrew McCabe. Who's going to be number two? How fast do you think they fall after this? Because let me tell you something, folks. McCabe isn't sitting on an island. He's not a turtle on a fence post. Well, he is a turtle on a fence post. He didn't get there by himself. There are other people out there who helped this clown, and they are going to be next. I don't know who they are. Here's the way somebody else did it. They said it. Breaking. FBI Andrew McCabe fired effective immediately after investigation found he, quote, made an unauthorized disclosure to the news media and lacked candor, including under oath, on multiple occasions. Attorney General Sessions announces. So what he did is he lied. And let me tell you how when you investigate. Now, I'm no investigator, but I slept with one night at a Holiday Inn Express. No, I'm kidding. It was a good night for us. Anyway, here's the deal. Investigators look at, here's what you did. And that was a lie. So let's see why you lied, Mr. McCabe. And so they start working backwards. Have you ever investigated something? Have you investigated your kids? And they tell you, I didn't do it. And you go, you didn't do it. But you were here by yourself. Or it was you and little Timmy. So it was either you or Timmy, am I right? You know, you just start going backwards. You work backwards. Let me tell you something, folks. There were two magic words. I've already given them to you. People are in trouble. If you don't think there's a lot of sphincters twitching in D.C., you better know differently, because the famous words came out. Clinton Foundation.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful four-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
A lot of things happened while I was gone. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Glad you guys are with me. Lots of stuff. A bridge collapsed. Was it Florida International University campus? What do they call it? Quick bridge. Quick bridge collapsed. Killed a bunch of people. I think 6 people were dead. Did you see that bridge? We're talking about McCabe. We'll get back to that, but I want to talk about this bridge for just a second. Did you see that bridge? The cars where the front of the car were smashed, and all you could see was the back, and then of course there was the cars where it got the back, got it, and so it barely missed the passenger seat. I'm just going to tell you, I just want you to imagine you're going under that bridge, and the back of your car just abruptly stops, and you look back there, and your kid is still in his a car seat, or your passengers are still there, of course, in shock. I mean, can you imagine that? And then when you look at the ones where the fronts got smashed, I mean, these people never saw it coming. That's how life works. They never saw it coming. What a shocker. We'll talk more about that bridge in a bit, because I call it a bridge to nowhere. It was connecting the university to 4,000 or 5,000 people that go to the university. It was connecting a cancer organ in a city. That's what universities are. Oh, don't get me off on a tangent. I want to go off on these universities, but they're nothing but cancers. So anyway, you got that. And it's also a metaphor for the Obama administration. Hey, here's a quick fix. Let's get us a black guy. That'll do it. Hey, America, how'd that work out for you? How'd it work out for you voting for a guy that you went, well, he can at least use the right kind of English. He don't speak like them other black people. How did that work out for America? I'm talking to leftists right now. For you people on the right, some of you voted for Barack Obama. Some of you sympathized with him. How did that work out for us? Because you thought it would be okay. When you stop measuring people by the color of their skin and start measuring them by the content of their character, you will elect the right people. Recall recently the judge that Chuck Schumer says, I'm not going to elect that qualified white judge. Donald Trump gave me a qualified white judge. Why would I elect him when there's an unqualified minority around there somewhere? Get me a Negro. Or a Hispanic. Or how about this? A Hispanic woman. No. What about a Guatemalan midget? Hey, midget, how you doing? I know you listen to the program. She's not Guatemalan. I have a midget, a lady named Midget that listens to the program. You heard me play her clips on here. She's not Guatemalan, though. Anyway, back to Andrew McCabe, who was fired on Friday so that he would not get his full pension, which would have, he'd get that on a Sunday. That was what he would have gotten had he lasted to Sunday. Remember when all the hoopla of this came up? McCabe's, I'm going to go ahead and retire. I'm going to get out of here. And people went, whoa, hold on a minute. Yeah, I remember he said, he said he's going to stay until the date that would get him his retirement. Then the hoopla came up over him. That was your sign right there, man. This swamp rat was trying to sneak under the radar so he could get that full pension. But more importantly, he wanted to walk away, because if he got his full pension and he retired from the FBI honorably, that would have been the end of it. He got fired after 22 years of service, and I use my finger quotes, in the FBI. And you know what? I'm sure there was a year or two where McCabe did okay. But let me tell you something. They say all crap can certainly get rid of 1,000 attaboys, right? And that's exactly what's happened here. I describe McCabe as patient zero in the downfall of the Democrats. Let me tell you something, folks. You can look at 3/16/2018. Too bad they didn't do it on the 15th, because then it would have been the Ides of March. That was the day that the Democrats' destruction, dismantling began. Patient zero. He's patient zero. Now, well, I'm calling him patient one. Why didn't you correct me, producers? Y'all are supposed to see. Let me explain how things work, radio people out there listening. Producers are supposed to whisper in my ear when I make a mistake. They didn't do it. He's patient zero. Ground zero for the destruction of the Democrat Party, dismantling of the Democrats. You're out there going, yo, Kevin, that's kind of what I was thinking. I told you guys, I said, somebody's going to, something happens. There's going to be something. I didn't know what it was. Is it going to be under FBI pressure? Is it going to be under IG pressure? Is it going to be, I don't know, Donald Trump authorizing the CIA to waterboard one of these Democrats? I don't know, but somebody's got to be patient zero and say, I'm going to give up the goods. And that's what I believe has happened. Well, in a strange kind of way, because McCabe wanted to sneak through. Admit it. Come on. Don't you think that? He just wanted to okay, if I just bide my time here. And then they caught him and he was like, well, no, I don't think so. And so now it's become, it's the pension. It's not the pension. It's not the pension at all. The Democrats know the symbolism of McCabe being fired. And if you start connecting the dots back, and that's what's about to happen. Donald Trump tweeted this, Andrew McCabe fired. A great day for hardworking men and women of the FBI. A great day for democracy. Sanctimonious James Comey was his boss and made McCabe look like a choir boy. He knew all about the lies and corruption going on at the highest level of the FBI. Let me tell you something, folks. You ever heard of a saying? It's called the buck stops. Somebody remind me where the buck stops. I'm trying to remember where the buck stops. That would be here. The buck stops here. His boss. Okay, let me put it to you another way. You're going along, you're stealing stuff, or you're doing nefarious things at your job. Who's at fault? Is it somebody underneath you? Or is it your boss? The buck stops with Comey. He was the one who knew what McCabe was saying. Let's see how the dots connect back to the boss. Thinking Springsteen. Yeah, some of you got that. The boss. Lies and corruption at the highest levels of the FBI. And the president of the United States, somebody they never thought his well-untanned buns would ever sit in that seat, Donald Trump, has called out James Comey on a tweet. Hey, James Comey, where are you? Is this thing on? Come on, James Comey, come out of the woodwork, get out of the swamp, crawl out from under the rock, and tweet back to the President of the United States. The President of the United States is such a meanie. Why is he doing this to me? I was afraid of him when he was in that room, and I thought he might grab me by my naughty bits. Poor little James Comey. Called out by the President of the United States. And let me tell you something, folks. Donald Trump's not calling James Comey out because he's trying to protect his own butt. Donald Trump is calling James Comey out to say, you're next, clown. I know exactly what you did. And McCabe is patient zero. You are going to be where we connect the next dot. So Comey finally came out with his tweet. Yes, he did. We'll get to it in just a bit. And let me tell you, it was a huge backfire on him. Huge backfire. Yeah, he thinks people care.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Turnover at the White House. Donald Trump letting go of people. Letting go of Rex Tillerson. Letting go of, they got all kinds of things. Oh, he's going to let go of McMasters and he's going to let go of so-and-so. Congratulations. But let me tell you what happened on Friday. McCabe was fired. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. Donald Trump tweeted out, the president, Andrew McCabe, fired. A great day for hardworking men and women of the FBI. In other words, not a great day for the slackers in the FBI, the corrupt scoundrels in the FBI. He then went on to say this, a great day for democracy. And then he issued what I believe is the kiss of death. And he issued it to James Comey. And here's what he said. Sanctimonious James Comey was his boss and made McCabe look like a choir boy. He knew all about the lies and corruption going on at the highest levels of the FBI. James Comey I think the president just called you out. So what did Comey do? Well, leading up to his response that he gave on Saturday, he had talked nothing about McCabe's firing on Friday. All he did was he posted his Final Four bracket. That's right. McCabe gets fired. It is the entire news cycle of Friday, and James Comey posts his bracket and in a note to President Trump, something like, "Yeah, I finally got my bracket done, President Barack Obama, blah, blah, blah." And I'm telling you, so that was it. Then on Saturday, here's what he posted. It was something along the line. What was it? It was like, Mr. President, I'm going to get to tell my side of the story. Let me read it exactly. "Mr. President, the American people will hear my story very soon, and they can judge for themselves who is honorable and who is not." And it did not go over well. A guy who calls himself the warden said, "You do know you're going to prison, right?" And that was one of the top retweets. Another one, JC says, "Right, hilarious how programmed and manipulated you are." Let's see. Another one said, "This account asked a question and doesn't even know the question it asked." Okay, I don't get that one. Tammy said this one. She says, "Just wondering, when God reads that book, do you think he'll give you a pass on your lies and hypocrisy? Although he forgives, he still demands fair and equal justice." And I'm telling you, every now and then you'd get a Comey supporter, but for the most part, they were ripping this guy a new one. Then we found out this. This is one Mike sent. Tina Flournoy, former chief of staff to Bill Clinton, wrote an extensive email explaining the term gross negligence to John Podesta on 3/9/2016. James Comey gave his speech about Hillary Clinton being extremely careless on 7/5/2016, which is months later. And they were explaining the difference between the two and how you keep one out of jail. Let's see. Here's another one. Let's see. The great career people working at the FBI must distance themselves from bad actors such as Comey, McCabe, Strzok, and Page, and many others. Let me tell you how many retweets. This thing got 343,000 responses and 104,000 retweets. And just for those keeping score, the majority of it was anti-Comey. Anti-Comey. And it's funny how Comey, because I was curious on Friday why he hadn't come out with one of his little, old Negro spiritual tweets, like, "Swing low, Mr. President, coming for to take me to jail." But he hadn't said a word. And now he finally peeps up. "You just wait. The American people will judge for themselves." And it always cracks me up when I think about Comey saying, "I was scared. When I was alone with the president, I didn't know what was going to happen." I'm only 6'8", 240 pounds. I mean, I'm vulnerable. That's your metrosexual. We talk about alpha males and beta males. James Comey is a beta male. If Donald Trump had called me out and I was innocent and he said what he said, "Comey, you're a scoundrel," whatever he said. What did the president say? I forget the exact quote. But if he had said that to me, I would be like, "Hey, Donald Trump, you ain't my president, clown." I would have gone straight up jungle Negro on a dude. But Comey, "Mr. President, the American people will hear my story very soon." He says it as if he has respect for the office. This big old clown ain't walking around going, "Mr. President." He's behind Trump's back talking smack. He's the way black people talk about cops when they leave, like, "Yeah, I should have whooped his butt, but I'm gonna go and take this ticket. I didn't want to have to hurt the man." That's what he was doing. But the American people can judge for themselves. Hey, James Comey, just so you're clear, the American people know exactly what's happened. We know exactly what's happened. You're a scoundrel of the highest order. Anyway, it goes on because I want to talk about some of the other tweets that came up after being fired. This is about McCabe. Sessions said that Andrew McCabe said it was an attack on his credibility. It was an attack on his credibility and he says it's part of the administration's ongoing war with the FBI. He wants us to believe that after a Democrat appointed Inspector General Horowitz has gone through all the evidence that this is an attack, like Trump is pulling the strings. There's nobody in D.C., but quite frankly in the country, that believes that. The people who've been pulling the strings are the reason why we haven't got 50 Democrats in jail. This is as close as you get to cleaning the D.C. House or draining the D.C. swamp as you can get. And every time Trump lets out a little more water, you see him just flopping around in the mud, blah, 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 blah. And this is exactly what's happening. But guess what? McCabe's the new victim. James Comey claims it's a witch hunt against the FBI. Think about this, folks. All the evidence that you've seen, that we've been presented with, this isn't conjecture. This is swamp rats still running the show. And you're still getting drips of evidence. Can you imagine if they laid all this evidence out before you and said, okay, America, here it is. Barack Obama colluded with the FBI. He worked with the highest person in that office, James Comey, who pretended to be fair, and they decided Hillary Clinton was going to be president. They orchestrated getting Hillary off by changing the language. They planned clandestine meetings between former President Bill Clinton and Loretta Lynch so they could map out the exact strategy that's unfolding before you. They then worked with FISA and Fisk court judges in order to take a fake document that the Clinton campaign had put together, working in collusion with a disgraced British spy. They worked with Fusion GPS, the entire Democrat apparatus, including the White House, in order to fabricate a fake story. Then they worked with the media to promote this fake narrative and begin the investigation on the entire Trump team, all to keep Donald Trump out of office and claim that the Russians were the people interfering in our electoral process. That's the truth. Can you imagine? I'm just telling you, I don't know how you see it. Go back and play this again at KJRadio.com. Just pick today's show, this segment, play it again, hear it back for yourself, and tell me what I missed, where I went wrong, what am I fabricating, and that's the truth. That's laying out the truth. If you think the left would dare go this route, there's no way. They are scared to death of discussing the truth about this. These are the people that have done everything they could to interfere in this election, and they continue to push it off on somebody. It's those rascally Russians, Natasha and Boris. I want to say what Eric Holder said. Get this. Eric Holder said, analyze McCain firing on two levels, the substance and the timing. We don't know enough about the substance yet. Really? A guy who helped his wife get $700,000 from the Clinton campaign, and then did everything he could to cover up what he was doing and how others were investigating Clinton. And he says, Eric Holder says, there's no substance. And then he goes into timing. The timing appears to be cruel and a cave that compromised DOJ independence to please an increasingly erratic president. They want you to believe Donald Trump is crazy. The timing was such that it was meant to be cruel because the narrative needs to be, it's about his pension. It's payback about his pension. And the crazier things that are being said about this, you got to hear some of these people as to what they're blaming. Now, we've already showed McCabe, I was fired, man, because they don't like me. Anyway, we got more to talk about. Keep it here, folks.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
This is my comment. I just heard right now that, what's his name, Jeff Sessions is going to fire McCabe before he can retire. Yes! Why should he get any retire of this? None of them should. And they should go to Angola prison. Thank you very much. Love your show. Bye.
I believe that caller expresses the sentiment of many on this program who believe that McCabe should have been fired. Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here, KJRadio.com. If you do want to chime in like that, you can feel free to do it. We love it. 844-551-8255. McCabe fired. That's what we've been talking about. Now, let's look at how the left wants to view this, and I've got a few more angles to this, and then we'll move on. We got a lot of other things to talk about today because a bridge collapsed, a bridge to nowhere collapsed. And like I said, there's, quite frankly, so much to talk about. I look at the show and I go, man, I don't know how we're going to get this in. And of course, we always have many subjects like this kid that got kicked out of his class because he said there were only two genders, and this brewing scandal of with Biden and China that's coming up. But anyway, I want to cover the McCabe firing, and I want to show you what the media, on the left, how they're looking at it. I got a clip from Don Lemon's show, because I would never watch Don Lemon's show. I think he's such a waste of space. I've been on his show many times before I was a contributor at Fox News, and I actually had respect for Don Lemon at one point. I no longer have respect for him. Now, in this particular clip, it's not him who's at play. It's really a guy. His name is Representative Eric Swalwell, and he comments on the McCabe firing. And by the way, this will be the news cycle this week, McCabe's firing, and it will be the news cycle for quite some time because McCabe is patient zero of the Democrats' demise. That's what I said earlier in the broadcast. But here we go on Representative Eric Swalwell discussing McCabe on CNN.
First, let me get your reaction to McCabe's termination. Do you think this is politically motivated?
Don, I think that Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions are sending a message to other people in the administration who may have seen something or who may be saying something to special counsel or Congress about the president and his ties to Russia. We interviewed Andy McCabe for nearly 10 hours. I found him to be an honest, decent person who knew a lot about the president's ties to Russia, and I just fear that this is a punitive act, a petty act, right before he's about to collect his pension, but more intended to send a message to anyone who would cross the president.
I love it. See, they know Donald Trump's staying far away from this, other than his tweets. And man, was he spot on in his tweet? Donald Trump tweeted this: Andrew McCabe fired. A great day for hardworking men and women of the FBI. A great day for democracy. And then he issued the Comey warning. Sanctimonious James Comey was his boss and made McCabe look like a choir boy. He knew all about the lies and the corruption going on at the highest levels of the FBI. What is the highest levels of the FBI? James Comey. And Donald Trump knows this. So he went after him. But here's Swalwell. Trump and Sessions are sending a message to those who would speak out against Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Yeah, they've spent 2 years looking into Trump's ties to Russia, and they got nothing because there's nothing there. Supposedly, Mueller just asked for some more business, and Trump's like, here, take it. Forthcoming, take it. Take emails, take everything you need. You investigate Russia to your heart's desire. And what did I tell you guys before? I told you Donald Trump will give these clowns enough rope to hang themselves, and they will fashion nooses for everybody. That's all this is. The longer they drag it out, the more nooses they create. There's a noose factory probably in Wisconsin somewhere. Donald Trump running it, or one of the Trump kids. Because let me tell you, the Democrats are hanging themselves, and McCabe's number one. And as I've said all morning, whatever time you're listening to the show, as I've said all broadcast, let me just tell you, this is bigger than losing a pension. That's what they want. Look, this guy, it's punitive. It's punitive and it's petty. And, he was sending a message to those who would speak about the ties to Russia. McCabe was speaking about Donald Trump's ties to Russia. Well, then what came of it? He's an FBI guy. He's a G-man. He's supposed to have credibility. Why didn't the inspector general look at all this information? Why hasn't Robert Mueller come back and said, we've got the smoking gun? Because there isn't one. So now Donald Trump's mean-spirited. He got Sessions to take away his pension. He didn't take away his pension. He gets the majority of his pension. This dude will be lucky to stay out of prison. Let me say, McCabe knows what they have on him. It's more than his pension. If he turns out to be patient zero, if he turns out to say, you know what, I love my freedom more than I love Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, he might be that domino that falls. I'm going to tell you right now, he is the domino that falls. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know if he's going to turn state's evidence or if it goes to Comey. Comey just got a fat check. I mean, he's been living large for a long time, but he's into the big money. He's got money that he can go buy islands and stuff. Is he going to want to give up his freedom? Because they're coming after him. And Eric Holder, no matter what he tweets out and all that Negro right there knows he's in trouble. Eric Holder knows he's in trouble. What did he tweet? Let me get that. Here's what he said. Analyze McCabe firing on two levels, the substance and the timing. We don't know enough about the substance yet. So in other words, maybe Andrew McCabe shouldn't have been fired. Huh? Okay, well, then go check with Inspector General Horowitz, who's the one who gave the report that made Sessions say, this guy needs to be let go. And then he says the timing is cruel. It's cruel. And it's a cave that compromised independence to please an increasingly erratic president. Hey, Eric Holder, nice try. Donald Trump, we know he's erratic. He's unhinged. He can't be stopped. He's a madman. He's a madman that's had the best year as a president in certainly in modern history. And you're going to try to make him out to be crazy. He's the madman that got Kim Jong-un to come to the negotiation table. He's a madman that has pretty much rendered Putin a nonplus in political circles. He's a madman that's got China opening up its trade barriers to the United States and the rest of the world. Yeah, that's how much of a madman he is. He's a madman that's presided over an economy that has consumer confidence at a 14-year high. Nice try, Eric Holder. But it gets better. Cheryl Atkinson tweeted this. She's the one that they spied on, and we now find out that there's a bigger thing. They forged documents against Cheryl Atkinson. So here's what she said. I think she was a CBS correspondent. She says, I just have this feeling we're being prepped to conclude that McCabe, quote, losing his retirement is punishment enough. Is that really the case? She says, well, let me just read the whole thing because it's a little confusing. But she says, I have the feeling that we're being prepped to conclude that McCabe losing his retirement is punishment enough for anything he allegedly did wrong. But then, I'm the suspicious type. What she's saying is they want to set the retirement up as he's losing his retirement. This is horrible. How can a man survive? And then they're going to find out McCabe also did this and he also did that. And he also did this. And then people are going to go, but he's already been fired and he's losing his retirement. Let's just leave him alone. And Cheryl Atkinson's exactly right. She's exactly right. They're setting you up. They're saying, oh my gosh, his retirement, the retirement. And you're going to feel bad. And all the minions are going to go, how's he going to survive without that money? Everybody deserves to have their retirement. I mean, after all, he served 22 years. So what? He had a couple bad moments. And then they're going to go, yeah, but McCabe also did this. He cheated for Hillary. He did this. We know. We have more information. But his retirement, man, it's enough. Just we can't hurt him anymore. You follow me? Come on, you feeling me? That's what we say in the hood. You feeling me, bro? See, that's the deal. They got to build up that sympathy because McCabe has a potential to crack. Let me tell you something right now. The guy who is most likely to be killed in America doesn't live in Chicago in the hood. No sirree, Bob. It is now Andy McCabe. The people that can kill Andy McCabe can kill him and make it look like an accident. You understand what I'm saying? Like Seth Rich. McCabe knows he's in big trouble. And for pension notwithstanding, a pension doesn't do you any good in the funeral home. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big deal. And Cheryl Atkinson nailed it. Punishment enough. The Democrats are setting us up. Watch over the next week or so when you start hearing that phrase. It's punishment enough for McCabe.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Oh my goodness, what did I miss when I was out? I so missed you people. Welcome everybody, Kevin Jackson here. It's Kevin Jackson Show. That little black dog that died, I missed that story. I don't know if Liz covered it. By the way, thank you, Liz, for sitting in for me on Friday. We have another person who'll be sitting in for me. Her name is Stephanie Trussell. Stephanie is amazing. She's got her own show on WLS 890 AM in Chicago. You can hear it on Saturdays. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. And she is, I'm just saying, Stephanie's amazing. You're going to love her. Yeah, anyway, I didn't get to cover the little black dog story, the dog that died on United Airlines that they put up in that, the overhead, what they call it, the overhead bin. Killed that little black dog. Such a racist airline, United Airlines. If it had been a little white pug, I bet they wouldn't have put him up there. Yeah, I'm going to make it racial. I was talking to one of my good buddies, a guy that invested in my film, Bleeding Blue movie, which I would suggest you go to bleedingbluemovie.com and check that out. Well, we were talking about it, and I was telling him, I said, Mike, the way that you deal with the left is, I don't believe in race. I mean, I know they're racist and all that, but as a problem in America, it's insignificant. But I said, with the left, I do everything to make them feel uncomfortable about race, no matter what it is. Well, you're racist, And so we were talking about all the different issues that came up, and Mike goes, "Okay, well, how would you do this one?" And it became a game. And actually, I'm going to make a video series about it. I really am. I'm debating on, do I want to do these on my regular camera, or do I want to do it on a good camera? But other than that, I'm going to do this because I want you guys to be armed and ready to go. But yeah, they make this lady put her little black dog, and he's in a legitimate carrier, but they make the lady put that black dog up in a bin, an overhead bin. Okay, whatever. Segregating that dog, Why didn't they just make the dog pick some cotton while he was up there, you know what I'm saying? Or throw him some chicken. Little black dog. He was so cute. And then they pull him out, and he's just, his legs are up, and he's dead. I mean, it was so sad. And you see his little face. You know how pugs just have that sad little look like, huh? But it was cute. As my grandmother would say, he's so ugly, he pretty. That's what she would say. But yeah, the little pug, big old eyes, and coal black. I mean, charcoal black. Beautiful, beautiful dog. I bet they spent a lot of money on that dog. That is going to be an expensive lawsuit for United. Oh yeah. And I would never wish my animal dead, but I'm going to tell you, if you're in that situation, you're flying free on United for life. And you're saying, I want cross, promotional stuff on other airlines. I want to be treated like an airline employee. That's how I want my dog. I don't want money. You're going to give me and my family free airfare all over the world, on United and other airlines, and then we'll call it even. Yeah, boy, that would be my little reparations dog right there. Oh, baby. Totally racist act. And then the lady goes, I didn't know there was a dog. I guess the barking didn't tip you off. And somebody made a comment on, I think it was on Fox. It had to be on Fox because I don't watch any other news channel, but they said something like, the bigger issue is nobody around stood up to say, wait a minute, there's a dog in there. You don't put a dog in the overhead bin. And I remember the minute I heard that, I was thinking to myself, I don't know what this lady, because it was a lady and her daughter who did the dog thing, but I said, I don't know what they would have, but I would have said, hey, excuse me, flight attendant, that's a dog in there. You don't put a dog in an overhead bin. I've never seen a dog in an overhead bin. I would have said something, but they were like, well, nobody wants to be disrupted. They don't want to get kicked off the plane. They don't want to, to cause a commotion. That's exactly the state of the conservative movement, honestly. People don't want to cause a commotion. They don't want to rile people up. They don't want to have that painful discussion. We've got so many ways of communicating. We communicate less and less and less. People tell me all the time. Oh, in fact, Mike, the guy on my film, Mike says to me, well, Kevin, we can talk about, he was telling me that you can't talk to the left. And something like that. And I said, well, can they talk to you? He goes, yeah, I'm interested in hearing what they have to say. I go, then why is it a one-way street? Why is it you're so willing to hear them out? But when you go to talk to them, they're not willing to hear you, and they walk away mad and, butt hurt. And you're supposed to just be, okay, I'm okay with that. When they come to you with their issues, you should say, you're an idiot, and walk away. Don't even pay attention. Because if what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Isn't that what old Maxine Waters said? So if you're going to come to me and you want to tell me your stupid little problem, I don't want to hear you. Well, Kevin, you got to understand about immigration. Shut up. I don't have to understand nothing. I don't like you. Get out of my face, racist. And walk away. Just walk away. But Kevin, come on, man. You don't want to test me. You better get out of my face, man. You done made me mad. If you get all crazy and get all like that, they're like, what? Because see, there's no way to get them to listen to logic. They just want you to take what they have to say. So when you go, I ain't listening to you, and I'm about to hurt you, then they go, those conservatives don't really want to talk about the issues. I just want to talk about immigration. And then let them feel that for a second. Let them marinate in that emotion. You do. You marinate in that emotion all the time. How many of your relatives have you just tried to have a general Well, Ted, yeah, I understand you want them over here and everything, but man, look, they're taking jobs away from America. They're not taking the jobs Americans want to do. And they go after you, and you're like, oh. And then you just got to sit there and listen. And they just tell you all the reasons why illegals shouldn't be here. And you just go, well, okay, because you're all mad and angry. You can do that with other people. You ain't going to do that on Kevin Jackson. Not on my watch. Not up in here. Little black dog died on United Airlines. I'm going to go to that dog's funeral and eulogize him. In America, you cannot fly on United Airlines. There's a black dog. They will not let you on. They don't want to serve you on the lunch counter. When the flight attendant walks by and asks you if you want your peanuts, they don't ask the black dog. No, they just they look right over the black dog. I look forward to the day when a black dog will be measured, not by the color of his fur, but by the content of his stomach. United Airlines. I hope y'all are made to pay. I got a bone to pick pardon the pun, with United Airlines because I flew somewhere at 6 a.m. and they canceled my flight and it cost me $1,000 to get to where I needed to go, and they wanted to give me a $100 voucher. Unbelievable. Lots to talk about today, folks. We already covered McCabe being fired. We'll talk about it a little bit, but you can catch it at kjradio.com in the first hour.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
What happened to the discussion of guns? Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. We've been talking about gun control because we always do when a school gets shot up that's not in the hood. I was asking somebody this question. Why aren't black schools shot up? There's more guns in black neighborhoods than you can shake a stick at, but black schools are rarely shot up. And I'm not, I know there are schools that are mixed, that have some level of diversity, to use the leftist word, but black schools don't get shot up. Now Kevin, they got metal detectors. Oh, really? They got metal detectors. What else they got? Oh, yeah, let me tell you what they have. They have black neighborhoods surrounding them. Can you imagine Nicholas Cruz going over to the south side of Chicago trying to shoot up a black school? Can you imagine the outcry that would, if number one, he wouldn't have got anywhere. When they had seen him cruising down the road, man, some brothers would have been like, let's follow this boy. Let's see what's up. Black schools aren't getting shot up. There is apparently some good news for living in the hood. Yeah. And hey, I forgot Pi Day. You know what Pi Day is, right? Pi, the Greek symbol pi. 314. Yeah, man. My mathematician buddies are like, Kevin, you didn't say nothing about Pi Day. I'm like, man, y'all got nothing better to do. Call a brother out, a fellow mathematician on Pi Day. Send me something secret. Don't call me out. They're calling me out on Facebook. You forgot Pi Day, bro. What's up? What's up, Minson? Huh? I'm like, I forgot, man. I got things on my brain. Einstein, I ain't sitting around going, oh, man, it's 314. It's Pi Day. Yeah. Oh, well, 314 Pi Day. I got kicked out of the mathematicians club, but I should have anyway, man. I don't. My math skills have just diminished greatly over the years. McCabe's pension, we covered that, but we want to talk about it a little bit. McCabe's pension has been pulled. Don't believe the hype. It's not about his pension. They want you to believe that he's been hit so hard that there's anything else we do to McCabe. I mean, why would we go farther after him? Let's not look any more into McCabe. He has gotten the ultimate penalty for doing bad in the FBI. Now I want you to think about this. One of an organization that is supposed to be beyond reproach, and you find out you got a crooked guy who's the number 2 dude in the FBI, and he's crooked as the day is long. And they say, well, he's lost part of his pension. They don't even tell you that he didn't lose his entire pension. the bulk of McCabe's pension he gets. But now they're going, he's going to lose his pension. And how's he going to survive? Probably from that fat cat wife of his who ran a campaign that Hillary Clinton's Clinton Foundation gave $700,000 to. I suspect that may be how. So, I'm not worried about McCabe, but they want you to be worried because McCabe is in big trouble. The dirt they have on this guy is not about a pension. That's just enough. They give you enough to say, we're going to fire him. And let me tell you, if Sessions, I don't know much about Sessions. I'll be honest. Sometimes he infuriates me. But if he's as smart as Trump has made some of his people around him to become, he's only given you a little bit of information. He's given you enough information to justify the firing, but not enough about the meat of it. As Eric Holder says, the substance. So they all talked about the substance, and now Holder talked about the timing of it. Trust me, there's plenty of substance, and the timing of it may be just as critical, maybe just as clever in what Sessions is doing. Because if they're smart, they're drawing these guys in. Yeah, give me all your reasons why I shouldn't have fired him. Come on, bring the ammo. Bring it all. And then boom, Sessions goes, bam, here's an email where McCabe said he's involved with this. By the way, I believe Peter Strzok, we've just found out, is good friends with a FISA court judge. That's what the new emails have come out to say. Oh, hey, buddy, you're going to be at the ball game? Yeah. Hey, by the way, I'll bring those documents to get Trump, get some stuff on Trump. Okay, I'll get them signed for you. I mean, it's practically just laying in the lap of everybody. Let me tell you, here's what I think the timing is. McCabe gets fired. They try to get you sympathetic about his pension. Then they drop one other bomb. You're going to hear about the FISA court thing. And then I believe, I don't know what will happen next, but I suspect that's when they say, we're going to do the next special counsel. And at that point, Mueller will have probably announced, or will have announced within a day or two, that his investigation's over. And when that series of events occurs, it's over. Armageddon. By the way, Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. I'm going to tell you Happy New Year all year. Because on 3/16 of 18, you got the beginning of the end of the Democrats, the dismantling of these clowns. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I bet many of you can't. And let me tell you, I know I got Carl listening. I got Carl listening. Carl, wait, buddy. This was phase 1. Patient 0, McCabe. Next is Comey. That's my prediction. Next is Comey. Because you can't be that close to Comey and not have all that interchange. I believe they got information between McCabe and Comey and Obama, whatever. I don't know how they all, but there's going to be information exchange where Comey becomes the hub. It's because right now it's McCabe. He's the guy we got the sights on. I said earlier in the broadcast, Comey hasn't tweeted a single thing about the firing of McCabe. His number 2. This is a guy that was giving us all kinds of old Negro spirituals and all kinds of stuff he's tweeting. Swing low, hang in there, FBI. Coming for to carry you home. He said nothing. He's got nothing. When how far did we go back? It was like 3-4 days ago. And he had his bracket up. I'm asking my producer, but he had his bracket up, right? And he said, yeah, here's my bracket as compared to Barack Obama's. Yeah, let me tell you something. Comey is more worried about his butt than he is his bracket. Don't give me this nonsense. Oh, man, I can't wait. I'm enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. But anyway, so yeah, McCabe's pension's gone. And the fallout from that, I think, is going to be huge. Again, we covered it earlier, so I don't need to cover it too much more. Hey, how about the Russians retaliating for those sanctions? Donald Trump, who's in collusion with the Russians, just issued even tougher sanctions around meddling in the elections. And, and I think that's just personally, I don't know why they would even bother to mention that, but it was mostly around cyber crimes of the Russians. And I think it's a good thing because our cybersecurity needs to be looked into, but I think Trump will look into it under the radar as opposed to, putting it all out there. But so stock up on your Stoli.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Hello, my name is Roads and Bridges. You may know me as the star of great films like The Roads and Bridges Over the River Kwai or The Roads and Bridges of Madison County. And it's not just the movies. I was part of some great songs too. Ventura Highway by America. Penny Lane by the Beatles. It's absolutely true. Not one of these cultural icons could have been successful without Roads and Bridges. Here at Roads and Bridges Incorporated, we'd like to thank President Obama
Roads and Bridges
and Massachusetts Senate candidate Elizabeth Warren.
Bridges and roads.
No, it's Roads and Bridges. Oh, never mind.
Roads and Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President, for all your help with publicity. Now I know the good book says the rain falls upon the just and the unjust. And, of course, Roads and Bridges lead you to the successful business and the unsuccessful. If you have Roads and Bridges helping your business and you somehow still manage to fail, it's Bush's fault. I'm Roads and Bridges, and you can't succeed in business without me.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson here. So how much did Obama drone about roads and bridges? I mean, so much that we actually made that clip, about making him into some British guy, I'm Roads and Bridges. How are you? I mean, it was incessant. Money just, it was crazy how much money we spent on. I remember saying, how many taxes can we pay on roads and bridges? We pay for roads and bridges through our gasoline taxes. We pay it at the federal level and at the state level, right? Then they put more taxes on top of that. I don't remember all the details around it, but we pay for roads and bridges like 4 times over. And then they talk about, well, we're going to put all this money back into roads and bridges, and you drive on the roads, and every year it's the same. It's the same. And then when you do see construction, you see this paid for by your taxes from Obamacare or something nonsense. And then when I researched how much we paid for the signs for roads and bridges, it was $192 million. Leftist clowns spent $192 million of your dollars bragging about their larceny as they robbed you of the funding of your own money so they could put more money into roads and bridges that ironically didn't get built. And these are the same clowns, by the way, that fight against Donald Trump's wall. Completely, endlessly, during the Obama administration, they talked about America's infrastructure. They claimed, Elizabeth Warren said this, and so did Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, that business would not exist without roads and bridges. Thus, capitalists, ergo entrepreneurs, owed their fortunes to the government for building roads and bridges. And I've often joked and said, okay, great. Can you imagine a little town that, back in the frontier days where, the guy that made your shoes was over there and the guy that shoed your horse was over there, the grocer was over there, and, the seamstress was over there, the lawyer was over there, the barber, and not a single road or bridge. And you all did your trade together, and life went on. Life survived. People took care of one another. Where was government then? Nowhere to be found. But these clowns want you to believe government is the reason business exists. Hillary Clinton's famous, don't go believing that corporations create jobs. I wonder if she goes back and looks at that clip and says, What was I smoking? What could I have been on? What drug? Anyway, all the money that went into roads and bridges, and we got very little to show for it. Horrible roads and bridges that kill. And we had a bridge. Now, this isn't a federal project, but we had a bridge that was being built at this college at Florida International University. Not being built, it was built. And here's how Fox News reported it. Several fatalities were reported after a newly installed pedestrian bridge at Florida International University collapsed, leaving 8 vehicles trapped under the sprawling wreckage. The Florida Highway Patrol confirmed to Fox News that there were several fatalities after the structure, touted as an instant bridge, collapsed around 1:30 p.m. at the Miami Area University. And it made me wonder, does Florida International University have a school of engineering or bridge building named for Barack Obama? I understand, folks, this isn't a government project per se, but it might as well have been, because our tax dollars fund the university, and that's where the bridge was constructed. And somebody in their masterful thinking said, hey, let's throw up an instant bridge. After all, it'll only kill the students and the passerbys that, happen to be going under the bridge at that time. And it's so difficult to cross the street at that location. We build this bridge. We'll connect all these people to the cancer of the university. And this bridge collapse reminds me so much of the left, folks. The Barack Obama legacy. If anything has collapsed, killing some and injuring others, it's the fake news narrative that Barack Obama had a great presidency. His presidency was a bridge to nowhere, and it collapsed right in the faces of the American people, and certainly on the left. And in light of what we've learned about the Barack Obama presidency trying to prevent the Trump presidency, I suggest that the engineers of that bridge at FIU, whatever the school is, begin looking at a possibility of a sinkhole, because I'm telling you, there's more to come. See, another metaphor of the bridge collapse at FIU University is Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. Hallelujah! Somebody dynamited her bridge to nowhere. See, Hillary had that in the bag twice. She was supposed to be president twice. And in both cases, men came from nowhere and pounded her bridge to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue into rubble. No deaths when Obama and Trump pummeled Hillary Clinton, but lots of carnage. So when I talk about these metaphors, this is what I look for. Look, the bridge collapsed. It's an idiotic thing to happen. It just goes to show you that when it comes to doing these types of things, people throw it up. And I'm crediting this to the fact that it was a university, the fact that it's liberalism on display. And I know there are people, Kevin, that's a stretch. It isn't a stretch. Look at what happens when disasters occur. It's liberalism on display. We can do it quick. We got an instant bridge. Have you ever heard of such a thing? They start putting this thing up, I believe, on Saturday, and by Thursday, people are dead. Have you ever heard of such a thing? That's liberalism on full display. I'll give you some more metaphors for this. How about the Trump-Russia collusion narrative? Adam Schiff continues his attempt to cross that bridge, but to no avail. I think I saw his dead horse, by the way, lying under the concrete, that crumbled concrete when I was looking. You got to look close, but it was there. The horse was still twitching a little bit. So ultimately, this Russian collusion narrative is going to spin back on the left, where people have died attempting to expose Hillary Clinton, but more are due to get hurt in that particular bridge collapse. And we've already seen some of the fallout with Andrew McCabe. You know who's next? James Comey. And what about Peter Strzok? And so on. How many people are going to die on that bridge? The final toll of people that were killed in that bridge, I think, was 6. Yeah? But multiple people are impacted. Those are the people who were killed. But what about the ones who were hurt? You know, as Donald Trump says, when we talk about these shootings, people always talk about the dead. They never talk about the survivors and what those people are going to go through. They said this. Officials from the Kendall Regional Medical Center said that they'd taken in 10 patients. 2 of them were extremely critical. Other 8 are in stable condition. But what's not funny about this bridge, what's interesting is they said the officials at the university were touting it. It was built to connect the campus to the town of Sweetwater, where they say an estimated 4,000 students live. Yeah, an easy path to a worthless education. The structure, they said, cost $14.2 million. Installed on Saturday, the university called it, quote, one-of-a-kind pedestrian bridge that swings into place. And then the president of the school tweeted this: FIU is about building bridges and student safety. This project accomplishes our mission beautifully. Yeah, it may swing into place, but it falls out of place. And get this, $14.2 million down the drain, 6 people dead, 10 other people's lives changed in some form or another, certainly 2 of them dramatically. And you can bet the left are going to figure out a way to forget this catastrophe, because that's what they do. See, there are guns to protest. And they're not going to let up on President Trump now that he's been completely cleared of any wrongdoing with the Russians. They got to double down. And what's this cleanup going to cost? Millions. And so will the future lawsuits. And I certainly hope the university is sued and they heed the words of the president. Mission accomplished. Let's see how he walks that back. But know this, in a decade, nobody in that school is going to even know that the school collapsed. They're going to blame it on guns. They'll say it was a shootout. White cops shot 10 black students on that very spot. And they'll dedicate the new bridge to it.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Hey, Brother Jackson. Listen, I just have to know how you saw the light. And now I don't need your whole life story, but that might be interesting. But I just need to know how, I mean, in the 60s, I was lost in the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, Berkeley, California. But listen, I know how I saw the light, but I want to know how you saw the light, how you finally could see socialism and the Democrats from a self-rule Republican point of view. Because, man, your rap is good, brother. You lay it down, and you've got a clear view of it, you know, and how'd you make the shift, and how did your eyes get open? Was it suddenly or step by step? And come on, lay it on us, man. I love it. I love it. Have a good one, bud. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. That was one of our frequent callers, and he's asking me to explain myself. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. KJRadio.com, 844-551-8255. Jot that number down because you're going to want to call at some point. So, what's the origin of Kevin Jackson? So, a lot of people know the story, but I will indulge this particular caller. The first thing I would say is I've never been stupid enough to be a Democrat. Now, I know that's going to offend some people, but so be it. That's what I'm here to do. I've never made a transition from being a Democrat. And by the way, let me just take the label off. The people who believe that that have this incessant desire to help the downtrodden but seeing them as somebody that they are better than. I've never been one of those. When I would recognize somebody that looked at me as a charity case, I would look at them like, you're a clown. I'm a human being breathing the same air as you, and you think you're better than I? And I learned at an early age it wasn't about money that made us better. Because as I say in my first book, I grew up rich and poor. My first book is titled The Big Black Lie. And I grew up rich and poor. I was poor because of the way my family, my family's financial condition, but we were in the lap of luxury because we worked for this wealthy family. And so I got to see both sides of it. And while my grandparents voted Democrat, they lived conservatively. And I watched that wealthy family who were Republicans and who were nothing like the people that the Democrats were saying that rich white people were like. And I noticed that my grandmother's best friend was this rich white Republican woman whom she worked for. Okay. My grandmother worked for this woman that was her best friend, and my grandmother would decry rich white people. And so I said, okay, well, these are rich white Republicans whose their spirit of what they believe in and all that mimics exactly ours. And my grandmother couldn't stand rich white people, but she liked them. And it wasn't fake that she liked them. She didn't put on for them. She really liked them. So who did she not like? She didn't like rich white Democrats. She didn't realize it. So I'm looking at this stuff going, okay, you don't like rich white people, but you like these rich white people. Now, what's different about these rich white people? They live our principles. When these people would come up to me, these rich white folks, they'd say, I can give you conversation after conversation. Kevin, come here for a second. I'd come over. So, what are you doing in school? How are your grades? I make A's. Yeah, I figured that. And I go, and I'd ask a question like, well, sir, out of curiosity, how do you figure that? Well, it's just the way you carry yourself, young man. You're this, that, and the other. And I would be, really? Yeah. And so they made me understand what to look for in somebody that got good grades. I knew I got good grades, but I was curious. Kevin, you seem like you're a pretty good athlete. Why do you say that? Well, it's the way you walk. I can tell by this or that. I was like, wow, okay. And so they taught me things, and I'd be, well, why do you do this, such and such? Oh, wait, the reason why you do that, Kevin, is this or that. And I'd overhear their conversations about what to invest in and why and how to save and things that they did as kids. And I go, sir, why did you do that as a kid? Kevin, I always knew my baseball card collection would be worth something someday. And, you got to understand the time value of money. Things like this. So here are these rich white people that supposedly were going to treat me like crap. Be like, get out of here, little Negro boy. And they're like ingratiating me. Come here. Let me talk to you. Let's engage. And then if you did something nice for them, they over-responded. Holy crap. I told a story in my book. I found a guy's turkey beard. They went hunting, and a turkey gobbler has what's called a beard. And it's the prize. That's what you get when you get them. They got this beard. And the bigger the beard, the bigger the bird. It's bragging rights. Just like, mounting a fish on the wall or the head of an elk. And so this guy lost his turkey beard. And the guy's 6'8". And so he's distraught. They come back from this hunt, and he's like, I can't believe I lost my turkey beard. And everybody's like, oh, Bill, surely it'll turn up somewhere, Bill, and everybody's trying to console him, and he, he's just all like, whoa, and I can overhear the conversation. So I go out the back door, and I'm going, where would this guy, he had it. He goes, I know, I had it when I got here. I know I had it, and he's just going on and on. So I went outside, and I said, and I remember thinking, now this is a little kid. I remember thinking, now where would a 6'8" guy leave a turkey beard and not remember it and nobody else see it? So I go out to the hunting vehicles, and I get on the rail, of the hunting vehicle. And sure enough, at the top of the thing, this thing was, like 5.5 feet, 6 feet tall. And I look up at the very top on the rail, and there's this turkey beard. He just placed it up there. And I grab it, bring it inside. And I said, Mr. So-and-so, sir, here's your turkey beard. Oh my gosh, Kevin, my goodness, where'd you find it? And I said, well, it was up on the top of the vehicle. And he goes, oh my goodness. And he goes, well, I'm so overwhelmed. And some guy said, well, Kevin, how'd you find, what made you look there? And I said, well, he's 6'8". I figured if you guys aren't seeing it, it probably is somewhere up high. And sure enough, there it was. First place I went to look. And the guy sent me a mini bike. Yeah. So I tell this story to tell people I find this dude's turkey beard that's worthless. I mean, in the scheme of things, but it was priceless to him. I wanted nothing for it. It was a job well done. I mean, it was like, that's part of our service. We find your lost items, right? But I take that thing, I give it back to him. Everybody makes a big deal. This one guy looks at me like, that was the logic you used to find that, huh? And I said, I remember just going, yeah, that was, it made sense. And the guy looked at me like, wow, we got all these big minds, all this big money around here. We can't find the guy's turkey beard, and we're lamenting the problem. And here's a kid that goes to solve it. Now, the lesson to that is everybody can talk about it, and we can whine, or you can go solve the problem. I never left my mind what problem solving does. Because I do that, and then the guy goes, I got to give you something. And I remember telling him, sir, it's not necessary. I'm just happy we were able to find it. And I give it to him. You got to understand, I'm 12 years old, something like that. I give it to him. A week later or whatever, he sends me a, $700 mini bike. But that's how things work. And so all the system was in place. I did it for no reason, just to, here you go. He rewards me with something that to me is worth much more than his turkey beard, but it shows what it meant to him. So all these lessons are just swirling around, and I've got dozens. I got hundreds of these lessons. Every time I interacted with these people, I learned something. So now back to the thing of it, from a political perspective, the moment I had a thought, from observing, I was like, there's no way in heck I could be a Democrat. No way. I watch these Republicans. I watch how they treat my family. I watch how they treat me. I watch how they treat others. And they are nothing but respectful. They want what's best for you. There's no pat little black kid. They treated me like these people treated me the same way they would treat their own children. And I know that for a fact because the Mormons' kids and their grandkids, I hung around them and I watched how they treated them. And it was no different. Kevin, you can go. You want to go on a trip to this with Lou? Let's go. You want to go here? Oh, if Ramona and Lou Jr. are going to do, Louis III rather, are going to do this. You can do it. Whatever their kids did, I did. So I watched that. And then I watched the world around me. I watched the degradation of blacks and how Democrats talk to us and how they made us feel. And I said, there's no way I could ever be that. It's not inside of me one iota. And that's how I came to be. And then there were lessons that I talk about in my first book, just things in general about how you form a kid who understands that you're, when people are trying to trick you. And the rest is history.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Donald Jr. is getting divorced. I know. It's uncontested. Apparently the two, he and his wife have just decided, you know what? We're not going to make a big deal about this. They've got 5 kids together, but it does come as a bit of a surprise. But then again, it doesn't. Welcome everybody. Kevin Jackson, who you're listening to, KJRadio.com. Why does it not come as a surprise? Well, it's Hollywood. I mean, it no matter how you look at the Trump family, it's Hollywood. These guys have lasted a long time, 5 kids together. Donald Trump Jr. got some exposure when he obviously was on his dad's show. Got huge exposure, obviously, when his father became president. He started running for president and became president of the United States. And his wife got a package that was like anthrax. So can you imagine how her life changed in a period of the last 5 years so dramatically? Now, here's what's interesting. You can bet there are people on the left cheering this divorce, happy that Donald Trump Jr. and his wife have split up. I told you so. Ha, ha, ha. And they're all, giddy over it. But the fact of the matter is, it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that these people's lives change in such a way that I don't even have to think about this. I guarantee you it impacted his family in ways that they never believed it would. This is a family that Donald Trump Jr. could walk down the street with his family, and most people thought, what a nice guy. He's amazing. Look at that beautiful family. His wife thought, we're part of the Trump empire. Everything's good, blah, 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 whatever. And they went from that to becoming pariahs instantaneously. Let me put it into black conservative perspective, okay? Before I became political, I was a brother that was just going to party, hanging out with my kinfolk. As Chris Harris would say, your cousin them. Hanging around my kinfolk, playing bones, playing bid, some bid whist. If you guys know when we say, man, you know how to play some bid? Yeah, I can play some bid. That means bid whist. That's a game black people play. It's the equivalent of what do the white people play? Bridge, right? It's like bridge. So we play that. Get somebody run up to the chicken shack and get some chicken, and we're sitting around having a few brewskis, talking just in general, mainly talking about sports, talking about kids, getting into a little bit of politics. But you could disagree because everybody assumed you were Democrats. You didn't talk about how you voted. You just kind of talk about this. You could disagree. In other words, I was just one of the black people out there. I was just one of the brothers out there. And then you make that transition. Suddenly, I'm like, nah, man, the cops, the cop that shot Michael Brown, he did the right thing. Oh, you one of them. You Mr. Uncle Tom, Mr. Steppin' Fetchits, me Coon Bean. And suddenly, I'm a persona non grata Negro, okay? No black people want to talk to a brother anymore. Now, if I were of a weak constitution, it would impact me. Let me tell you, when it first happened, I was like, what? Y'all are mad at me for speaking the truth? And my initial, human nature thing is, why you mad at me for saying my opinion about what I really believe to be right? That was my reaction. No. If I had been, I'm telling you, a weaker person, it would have been easy to get corrected. To take my licks and go, I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to talk about Michael Brown Jr. like that and disrespect his body, laying in that heat, whatever. I could have been that dude. But I'm nowhere near that guy. I was like, what? So what? What are you talking about? You mad at me? You mad at me for using logic. You mad at me for using reason. You're mad at me for telling you the way that it really happened. That this dude over here is lying when he said, this is what I saw. That cop reached his arm out the window and grabbed a 6 foot, 1 inch, 300-pound black dude by the throat. And I was like, no, he didn't. No way on God's green earth did he do that. And I knew then people were lying. He killed that boy. He walked up to him and he just shot him and he said he had his hands up, don't shoot. I knew it was a lie. And I said it, and of course I'm vindicated, but now I'm ostracized. And as you guys know that listen to this program, I don't give a crap about black people being mad at me. I do not care. If there were no FCC regulations on how I talk to you right now, I would tell you exactly how I feel about those clowns. I don't care. Kevin, you're a too little white man. Fine. Hey, Chuck, are we going boating this weekend? Yeah, Kev, you're more than welcome to. Great. See you there. Ask me if I care if I ever spend another minute with somebody that wants to be down with the black folks. I do not care. I got plenty of non-black friends. And I mean plenty. Okay? Because many of y'all listen to the program. In fact, I'm going to do a little deal here. If you would ever want to hang out with Kevin Jackson, I want you to call me at 844-551-8255 or send me a note. And if you have because I'm going to read them or I'm going to play the clips. Say, Kevin, I met you at this deal, or Kevin, I would love to have you come meet my family or come hang out with me. Because let me tell you something. I wish I kept everyone. We started keeping up with them. Every time I go do an event, somebody comes up, Kevin, we during the time this time of year, it's really beautiful here in Oregon, and you need to come up and do this. Or Kevin, the rodeo is going to be doing, it's a big deal in our location in Wyoming. You need to come up for that. Kevin, you like to fly fish? Kevin, you want to come up, man? I'd make the best barbecue. You name it. There's hardly a place I've been where somebody didn't do it. If I said to you I had 1,000 invitations to people's homes, to their barbecues, to their events, I'd be lying, because it's more than that. So let me just tell you, black folks, you can have it. I don't care. I have plenty of things to do. Okay? So it's tough for the Trump family to have gone through this, to make that transition, because they went from being, a very respected group of people to suddenly pariahs, and everybody can't handle that. It's difficult to have that fall from grace, and then you worry. I'm sure the daughter's worried. Junior's wife is worried about the kids and the impact on the kids. Let me tell you, I would tell you I'm worried about the impact on my kids, but they're grown, and they're strong enough to withstand it. But I get it. These youngsters and they're going, Mommy, why do people hate us? And so maybe that was the thing. I don't know. But I hate that Trump family's going through this, and we wish Donald Jr. and his wife success in that transition.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Beth Cook Moranville, author of Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope.
Hope, that wonderful, wonderful 4-letter word that you may feel completely out of. I wrote this book to give you great hope. It's not too late. If fetal position is an all too familiar place for you, I understand. If the next 60 seconds are too long, this book is for you. Wherever you are right now, whether you're dealing with divorce or death or sickness, take hope. You are going to make it through this pain. Don't roll your eyes. I've walked this road and I know it. The best is yet to come.
Closer Than Your Breath, a book of hope from author and speaker Beth Cook Moranville, can be found on Amazon.com or Kindle.com. For more information, visit closerthanyourBreath.com or on Facebook at Closer Than Your Breath.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
There are, at my house in St. Louis, my neighbor has, what's it called? Bamboo. And I don't know if you've ever worked with bamboo, seen it grow. It's it looks beautiful when you see it in the jungle. It really does. It's an amazing plant. And I had no idea about bamboo until I moved into that house in St. Louis, and my neighbor had a bamboo forest, and it was along the fence line. And I'm trying to grow grass in my backyard, and suddenly bamboo starts coming up, through my grass. And I'm like, what the heck? So I'm cutting these bamboo stalks down. By the way, bamboo grows at a crazy rate. I'm talking about it like a foot a week. And it can start out as a little sprout, a little thin sprout. And not only does it grow, in height, it grows in thickness. And when it gets to a certain thickness, it is a weapon. They make, rattan furniture and all that stuff. When you put it in the, cook it and do everything to it, it is tough stuff. So long story short, I got this bamboo forest that separates me from my neighbor, and birds get in it and you can just hear them just nesting. I mean, it sounds like an apiary. It's crazy. I'm sorry. An apiary. Just crazy having these birds. You're out there, you can't barbecue, these birds are just noisy as heck. And they got all these nests up in there. So I meet my neighbor. I mean, we've been neighbors for a long time. And I said to him, Shaka, his name is Shaka. I said, hey, Shaka, what are we going to do about this bamboo, man? Because in the winter, it would loop over into my house and hit my power lines and my cable line. And it just, because this thing is like 25 feet, 30 feet tall, and it just bends over. And it would create, literally, I'm not kidding, it would create a tunnel that you could walk through, and it was loaded with snow. And when eventually it would fall and hit you, and stuff would hurt. It was just a mess. So he says, man, I'll put that up there because I couldn't stand my previous neighbors, because they carry on and all this other stuff. So I go, can we cut it down? He's like, yeah. So he got a job in D.C. and, wasn't able to do it. Plus, he's an older black dude. So I'm like, I'll go chop it down. So I get a machete. I go to Home Depot, I buy a machete, and I start chopping this stuff down. And I would have to chop it down little by little. So I started cutting it down on the fence line where it would lean over into my yard. So I got a ladder, went over there. And I feel like I was in the jungles of Vietnam. I'm chopping this stuff down. And bamboo, when it gets high up there, it is tough, man. This machete, I'm going to town on this stuff. And so I'm cutting it at an angle. And I'm leaving these things like 2 feet high. And it dawns on me how the Vietnamese use bamboo to kill soldiers when they make those deadfalls, where you'd fall in it and you'd hit the bamboo, and it would just impale you. And you're going, Kevin, where are you going with this story? I'm getting to it. It turned out, so I would cut these things about 2.5 feet because it was at the rate where I could easily swing my machete. And I'm cutting back the forest little by little, and it's probably, 20 feet deep, and I'm only 2 feet in just to keep them from bending over my fence. And I look at this stuff and went, holy crap, this stuff could kill you. Because I would go back and forth on my ladder, and it took me days to get this done. And as I would fall off the ladder, I would go, dude, that could have killed you. So I cut them down, the same things. I cut them down to like 3 inches off the ground, where I could just whack and so you got all these sharp points on the ground. Then it got to where I couldn't see them. So I had to start wearing boots. I'm telling you how bad it was. I had to start wearing boots because you'd step on these things and they go through. Tennis shoes were nothing, man. You might as well, you were going to be dead if you did tennis shoes. So I'm cutting these things down. Long story short, I finally get the forest cut completely away, and I had to go back and trim all those things even so they wouldn't be like little shards of bamboo that could still kill you. And then by the way, you can't kill bamboo with like Roundup or anything like that. It doesn't kill it. It is a weed. It's beautiful elsewhere, but I want to be nowhere near it when it, in terms of like for decoration, because it's a pervasive plant. So where am I going with all this? A man fell on a 4-foot steel rod, and that steel rod went through his groin and up to his neck. He was impaled by a 4-foot steel rod. Rebar. Yeah, I know. That was a long way to get to it from the bamboo story, right? Yeah, but it sets it up. I think I built enough of a picture for you to understand what I'm talking about. Salim Sheikh was working on a construction site when he slipped and fell, and a rod pierced him through the scrotum, going up through the entire length of his body and emerging out of his collarbone. I hope this dude had Obamacare, because, man, that's going to cost him some money, isn't it? Scans revealed the rod had pierced his small intestine, his colon, his liver, his diaphragm, and lung, but surgeons were able to remove the pole during a 5-hour procedure. Wow. Look, this has nothing to do with politics. This is one of these human interest stories that as a dude, when you see a story that says a 4-foot rod has gone through your scrotum and emerged from your neck, you take notice. And I know there are people, certainly dudes, we're out there listening to this story going, ooh, Kev, seriously, bro, come on, man. Because, yeah. Yes. But it made me think about that because what happened was this guy, they got all that rebar. If you've seen how, have you guys seen how like buildings get made and they have the rebar up there because they're going to add another, layer of concrete. And so in reinforced concrete, they put that rebar. This guy fell in a rebar, like a pit, like the Vietnamese would do to the soldiers in the Vietnam War or Vietnam conflict, whatever they call it. I was blown away, but I was more blown away that he survived. And by the way, this was in India. In India. This was not in America. This was in India where they saved this dude's life. Let me tell you, you get stuck through the colon, the liver, the diaphragm, and the lung, and they save your life. I mean, this is I got a friend. I think I told you this. He's an acquaintance. I'm not going to call him a friend because we fell out. We were friends, and then he ruined it. But he called me not long ago because I hadn't talked to him in a year, and he says his intestine exploded, and he's in the hospital. Doesn't know if he's going to make it. And I mean, because he was, they cleaned him all out. He says, man, they had my guts on the table, and his intestine exploded for no reason. He was training and getting in good shape, and I saw pictures on his Facebook page, and he'd lost like 25 pounds and was ripped. And he used to be a stunt man in Hollywood, so he's a good-looking guy, getting his life together. Had gotten out of rehab and other stuff. This is back when we were friends. We talked all the time. But anyway, yeah. So it's a dangerous thing to get something like that go through your body because all kinds of bacteria form. Godspeed to them both.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, we got that fake news to be talking about here on the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. By the way, if you are new to the program, you want to check me out, I got books out there. The Big Black Lie. It's available on Kindle or whatever they call it, electronically. I don't have any more in print. Then we have Sexy Brilliance, where I've laid out quite a few things that are you're starting to see now. And then finally, my third book, which is Race Pimping. You can get it at racepimping.com. Check it out. Movie coming out on March the 9th. I'm sorry, September the 7th. Why did I say March the 9th? Seriously, why did I just say March the 9th? That's when you know your brain's like, boop, boop. Yeah, September the 7th, March the 9th. What the heck is March? And there is nothing significant about March the 9th. And I just said that. And now I'm saying it a bunch to you people. You're going, Kevin, you should do something on March the 9th. September the 7th of this year. Bleeding Blue. Check it out, bleedingbluemovie.com. Yes, getting into the film business. Yeah. Yes, Rochester and I decided we wanted to do more with our money. So we're getting into the film business. Next, we're going to start a winery. Now it's a great film. You're going to love Bleeding Blue. I promise you. It's going to be groundbreaking, earth-shattering, and all of that. And it comes out after Denzel's second movie. Denzel's got a remake of, not a remake, but a sequel to The Equalizer. Which, I got to tell you, I would have loved to have been the guy, Robert Taylor, in The Equalizer. That's my role right there. Yeah. Anyway, I loved the first one, and I know the second one's going to be good. It opens up in August sometime. So hopefully I'm in the theaters at the same time as Denzel. Yeah. You take that, Denzel. I'm glad you guys are here. So we've learned some news about Gina Haspel, who they said she was a waterboarding chick, right? She's now going to head the CIA, a female, first female to be put in charge of America's clandestine agency known as the Central Intelligence Agency. And the Democrats are fighting. She's a waterboarder. She's a terrorizer of people. And so, they're, oh, she's bad news, this, that, and the other. And then they go, oh, geez, no, it turns out she wasn't involved in a waterboarding cover-up. We talked about it. I thought she was too, because that's what I was told. But as I tell you guys all the time about this program, don't believe it. Only believe my opinions. See, I was told that Gina Haspel was part of she wrote the memo for the Gonzalo Rodriguez dude who she worked for. And she wrote the memo about waterboarding to delete the files or whatever involving that. Now, I watched him on a special about the CIA. And I watched him say with his own mouth, I ordered those tapes to be destroyed. I thought to myself, dude, I love you. This is a guy that said, I'm not going to leave it a chance. I want them destroyed. So he did. But somehow they were trying to put Gina Haspel as the person who did it. And, this is the Democrats. They don't care. So what? It's a first woman who would be the CIA director. She's being appointed by Trump. If Barack Obama had appointed her, they would have been lauding her. Even if she waterboarded, they would have been, well, everybody's got a few things in their past, but, if President Obama has faith in her, so do we. And you would have had a completely different narrative. See, that's what I don't like about the left. Completely different narrative. If you had said to me, Barack Obama's appointing Gina Haspel, here's her record, she's responsible for having waterboarded terrorists, I would have been, you know what? That's a feather in her cap as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to tell you right now, anybody in this country who will tell you that they're not willing to go to the nth degree to save lives in America, they're no good. They should not be in politics. And we've been told, oh, we have to follow all these rules in the Geneva Convention. You're exactly right. We do. We should have some form of decorum, diplomacy in this respect with the rest of the world. The problem is we always follow the rules and the rest of the world doesn't. So here's the deal with Kevin Jackson. If everybody follows the rules, I'll follow the rules. If nobody's going to follow the rules, you can be doggone Skippy. I ain't going to follow them. And I'm going to tell you right now, waterboarding would look like us having steak tartare together compared to what I will do to you to save, number one, my family and friends, and certainly anybody in this country. Do you think waterboarding is bad? I will pull your fingernails out with pliers, with alligator pliers, and that'll just be us getting started. Don't talk to me about what I would be willing to do. And here's what I'm going to tell you right now. That's why I like Donald Trump. He's learned publicly what he should say, but he's already told us, torture? Are you kidding? Give me plausible deniability, and I don't give a crap what you do to somebody that saves American lives. You better know that's what Donald Trump thinks. But here's the bigger picture here of all this stuff we're talking about. They said Gina Haspel was part of this whole, waterboarding thing, when in fact she wasn't. She wasn't. It was BS, nonsense from the leftist media machine, fake news narratives. And so now what? Now what's your problem against Gina? Nothing. You can't believe these people. You can't believe. Well, I mean, come on. I feel like a broken record. You can't believe them. Let's talk about Peter Strzok and his FISA judge. I talked about it before. Newly discovered text messages reveal two key federal law enforcement officials conspired to meet with the Fisk Court judge who presided over the federal case against Michael Flynn. The judge, Rudolph Contreras, was recused from handling this case days after accepting the guilty plea of President Trump's former national security advisor, who was charged with making false statements to federal investigators. Now, here's the text messages between Lisa Page and Peter Strzok. Page being a lawyer for the FBI and Strzok, the senior FBI counterintelligence official who got kicked off of Mueller's special counsel team. And these were deliberately hidden from Congress. Multiple congressional investigators have admitted to this. Now, in the messages, Strzok and Page, who obviously had been having this romantic affair, discuss Strzok's personal relationship, his personal friendship with Contreras, and how they were going to leverage that relationship in ongoing counterintelligence matters. Now, here's what the text says. Rudy is on the Fisk! Exclamation point. Page excitedly text to Strzok, and that was on July 25th of 2016. Did you know that? Just appointed 2 months ago. Strzok's response: I did. I need to get together with him. Then the next one. He said he'd gotten on a month or two ago at a graduation party we were both at. So Strzok knows that his buddy is on the Fisk court. Now, he got appointed May 19th of 2016, and we got that from federal records. Now, they schemed, I'm talking about Lisa Page and Strzok, then schemed in order to get this set up with Rudy. They schemed on the how to meet up with him. So they were going to set up a cocktail or a dinner party. So they could, and part of it was they wanted to speak to Contreras without arousing suspicion. Now here, I'm going to give you the actual text messages as to how this came to be. So and I'm going to read this. Redacted, suggested a social setting with others would probably be better than a one-on-one meeting. That's what Strzok text to Page. Then he says this: I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to invite you to that cocktail party. She fires back: have to come up with some other, Strzok added this, have to come up with some other people cover for action, some other work people cover for action. So they're wanting to orchestrate an event where they had multiple people there where it would look like, oh, hey, we just happen to have this little gathering. It's no big deal. So Page responds, why more? 6 is perfectly fine. 6 is a perfectly fine dinner party. Now, I don't know if this dinner party happened, but here's what I'm telling you. These two members, very key figures in the FBI that have gone against Donald Trump and kicked off of a special counsel's investigation and so on and so forth. We now get this, I think it's a smoking gun that says they're conspiring to meet with a Fisk court judge, and we already know all the dossier crap and all these other things. This is what these guys are conspiring to do. Now, look, I don't know how all the special counsel crap and all that stuff works, but come on, seriously? How much more do we need to know? We got McCabe. We got Strzok and Page. We got Comey lying. If they, look, connect those dots alone, and who else in the FBI goes down? And let me tell you, folks, there are people inside this organization that so want to see this just over. They want to see these guys get justice. They've watched how they've done things. They don't agree with, whether they agree with them politically or not, they don't agree with how they've impugned the reputation of every member of the FBI, and they're sick of it. And you watch what happens next.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.
Putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's a Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com. And I started looking into James Comey's book that he got a big fat advance on. You know the name? Do you guys know the name of his book? Yeah, I didn't even know the name of his book. I looked at the name of his book. It cracked me up. James Comey, the name of his book. It's Higher Loyalty. Can you believe that? Higher Loyalty. Yeah. Higher Loyalty. This guy has been the most here's what it said. A new book from James Comey. A Higher Loyalty. Truth, Lies, and Leadership. If there's anybody that should not be talking about truth, lies, and leadership, or truth, I should say, it's James Comey. And so he's got on his Twitter page. I was trolling his Twitter page. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I was trolling it. And let me tell you, every tweet this clown puts out, I'm not exaggerating, 60 to 70% negative, 30% positive. So I'll give you an example. Here's the very first one. Any advanced copies available? From Paula. Then the next one. You helped get us into this mess. I really hope your book magically gets us out. Let's see. One says, oh, Trump's going to go ballistic. Thank you for your service. And then others, they say he's a F you. There's one just that simple, F you. George is not a rollout guy. They're talking about George Stephanopoulos. And then here's one I really like. Well, isn't that precious? Author and Clintonite James the Swamp Liar Comey being interviewed by Georgie Porgy Stephanopoulos of fake ABC News that worked as a dirty Clintonite operative. Let's keep it in the family. Will Bill be under the interview table listening? Oh, man. Then some people went into Obama. One guy says here, no, you've lied enough. And the title of your book is laughable in that you know nothing of truth-telling. I think that's the majority of people. History alone will be the greatest judge is what one person wrote. Oh, man, it's brutal. Guess you're happy. Oh, man, look, James Comey, I think he will be patient number 2. I said McCabe is he's patient 0, I guess is technically it, meaning that he's the person who started this whole thing, the dominoes falling. And after McCabe, Comey's next. And, you know, it's funny how these people, they have to do this. And I know we've all been in trouble, and we've all kind of tried to pretend at times like, okay, if I just don't think about it, you know, the day will go quicker and then it'll pass. It doesn't pass. It doesn't pass. You have to confront the issues that come up throughout your life. And to me, it looks like Comey and these guys are just trying to brush it over. It's so funny to watch. And I like I said, I was trolling his page, and I went back to where he was doing all of his little tweets, and like here's one he did on February 1st. All should appreciate the FBI speaking up. I wish more of our leaders would, but take heart, America. American history shows that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field so long as good people stand up. Not a lot of schools or streets named for Joe McCarthy. And again, if you go to the tweet and you look at what people say about him, by the way, it got 270,000 likes or whatever, and then 92,000 retweets. And here's the first one. Well, the first one was, I can't wait for the director to fire you, which I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense. But one lady says, I think you got that backwards. People don't care about the country or the laws. There's nothing to shield Trump from law enforcement. It says should be held accountable. So again, people start jumping on him. Is this the real thing? How do I scan for bots? And they just destroy this man. Here's why I'm telling you this, and I know this is not great radio, but the reason why I'm looking at this, I'm reading these to you because I'm trolling it as we do this, is James Comey, there's not nearly as many people that are thanking this guy for who he is. And they see him for what he is. And look, I don't know who's over social media. I don't believe black folks are trolling James. I mean, other than me, I don't believe there's a whole lot of black folks going, hey, let me see what James Comey's done. Let's see how many people are beating up on that fool. You know, I don't think that's happening. But the majority, a lot of these people do not like him. Here's what one lady says. Unfortunately, you are pulling a McCarthy on innocent people. Joe McCarthy went after the guilty. You disgust me. A disgrace to the FBI and to America. They should exile you. That's what the people are saying. One person says Comey can be cranky when cornered. Let's see. You're going down with him. Then calling others liars without facts doesn't work for me. The next one. Nice bait. Let's see. I'm just looking at these as we go along. And I don't want to do the ones that aren't interesting. But here's what I'm telling you. People know the truth. And I think that's what we can take heart in. And I may troll Eric Holders soon just to show what's happening to him. I think it's shocking to some of these folks when they put these things out there and they think it's going to be this social media friend. Because here's the other thing. Conservatives, we don't control social media. We're very bad at it. I'm just telling you, we are not good at it at all. If there are truly 50-50 people in the country and you look at Twitter, if you read your Twitter feed, conservatively, you think it's 70% leftist. I think it's probably 80%, honestly. And even with that, the people that are supposed to be supportive of Comey or supportive of Obama, whatever, go troll their things. I can't troll some of them because they've blocked me. But if you go troll their Twitter feeds or Facebook pages or whatever, you'll find they are being eviscerated. Even lefties are going, you dishonor me. You make me feel bad for ever having voted for you. I can't believe you did that. Blah, blah, blah. Here's another one on Comey's thing. The Carter administration froze Iranian assets. The Obama administration sent pallets of cash to Iran just before he left office. Completely separate the lifting of sanctions and release of Carter funds. So they get into all these other discussions, but at the end of the day, they don't like him. They don't like him. Here's one. Lots of laugh in the house of cards. Your politically charged office continue to tumble down. What is the director of the FBI asking an employee who sat on information for over a month? Go ahead and keep your job. WTF. Comey, and one guy, Comey, and he's got a little, what they call it, emoticon of a turd. The next one, your buddy McCabe is gone. Adios. Somebody did a music video ridiculing him. Here's the next one. You leaked your government notes about your private meeting with the president to a friend so he could get in the paper so a special prosecutor could be appointed. And here we are. I mean, they're beating this guy up on his own Twitter feed. One lady wrote, yes, hopefully you're next, right after McCabe. See, they're getting it. And I've already talked about what's going to happen next. The dominoes, folks, they're about to fall. The dominoes. And you know what's funny? When you vindicate the things that Trump has done. For example, I talked earlier about Gina Haspel. Oh, she waterboarded. And if she had been an Obama appointee, they would be glowing about her. Then what did they find out? Oh, she wasn't the one who did that. Jeez, got that fact wrong. So what does that mean? Donald Trump says they're fake news. I've been telling you, disregard them. And I don't know how you feel, but I'm just kind of testing a barometer on my social media. The majority of you free-thinking conservatives have figured out what Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas told me in his office. Kevin, the media does nothing but lie. They're worse than liars because they create stories. What Comey wants to do is to create a fallacy, create a belief that he's Mr. G-Man that was doing it by the book. Here's what Comey said under oath. In regards to the president's tweets about him being wiretapped, I have no information that support those tweets, and we have looked carefully inside the FBI. He knew it was a lie. Here was another one that somebody said about his tenure as the FBI. I just can't understand why people see what a corrupt, liar, dirty cop Comey was and still is. I think they should all be hung for treason. Nana. That's somebody's grandma. A funny note to me has Comey with his head on a weasel. And he's got him swearing in. He says, I'm James the Weasel Comey, a beta cuck. I'm a leaker, a liar, and should be thrown in prison. Keep tweeting, Comey. Come on, baby. Bring it. By the way, you were a little bit late in response to the president when he called you out. And Donald Trump, he usually gets it right.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.